looking to build on the most watched week of WWE television in over 5 months with the big star power feuds targeted to heat up significantly with the live TV returns of Rock and Austin over the next 2 weeks. Raw on February 3rd went on the air with an awkward start to the broadcast with the opening Bischoff limousine segment and a technical mistake either from the company or TNN airing the Spanish feed to result in the first 3 minutes of the US version of the show being translated by the Spanish announcers before JR and King took over to introduce Raw, building up a show-long angle of Eric driving all over Texas in hopes of sealing the deal to sign Steve Austin for an official contract to appear at the No Way Out pay-per-view in a similar angle to the February 1999 Vince Patterson and Brisco comedic Texas chase in the build to the first McMahon vs. Austin match at the Valentine's Day Massacre pay-per-view, with the big story of the week after almost unprecedented hype for a magazine interview in the internet age and weekly TV era of the industry, expectedly ending up the Austin interview in the February Raw magazine finally responding to give his side of the walkout story with him going all out on all top players involved with no diplomatic censorship to make numerous headlines from the interview ahead of his TV comeback, noting the beginning of his conflict with the company going all the way back to his heel turn at WrestleMania 17 with him not happy with the creative direction and not having Rock to feud with in the immediate follow-up to the turn, jumping a year forward saying that he wasn't happy with the promotion to his Scott Hall match and being placed 3rd or 4th from the top that led to his first walkout immediately after WrestleMania 18, as he did in the infamous Spite This interview in May 2002, continuing to heavily criticize the creative system in the company, particularly the more scripted approach to TV formatting and promos, saying that the writers are taking the business and uniqueness from the performers and the company should go back to bullet points as it did during the peak of the boom period, detailing his second walkout in the Lesnar match, noting that he should have been the last in line for Brock and not used to build him up in a similar issue to the first conflict in March with both Hogan and Lesnar pay-per-view payoff money matches going to Rock, with Austin's 3 biggest individual shots coming against Rock, Triple H and Hulk Hogan, starting by saying that despite the rumors he didn't have a problem with the NWO coming in besides Hogan being a manipulator who plays backstage politics. Moving on to Hunter, noting his constant references to him walking out, saying that he needs to stop talking about him and worry more about his own character, with him not justifying the amount of TV time invested in him with business down across the board with him as the most promoted name, with Austin's comments on Rock with the direction now shifting to a likely third Austin vs. Rock WrestleMania main event with the Goldberg negotiations for a deal not set to be reached in time, bringing up questions on Austin perhaps using the interview to kick off the build-up to the match, with him heavily criticizing Rock's promo in Oakland on June 17 that sent him off while indirectly telling him to get the F out as the final nail on what he called the smearing campaign. With Raw next seeing the official introduction of the brand's new heel group, with Triple H with Horseman inspiration placing himself in the Flair role while introducing Evolution for the first time as the name of the group, with Hunter, Flair, Orton and Batista as the 4 members, with Raw's first hour after the positive momentum of interest and viewership trending upwards in the past 2 weeks, taking a massive hit of 1 million viewers from 5.2 last Monday to 4.3 million viewers tonight, hoping that the drop is just a transitional period before spiking back up, with viewers knowing that Hogan and Rock are still SmackDown exclusive and that Austin won't show up until the pay-per-view, with the Austin Raw magazine after the massive TV hype in contrast to tonight's numbers matching expectations, with the magazine reportedly seeing a huge sales increase, with Austin later noting hearing that it was the biggest selling issue of the Raw magazine in years. With Triple H introducing Evolution as the new group that is scheduled to cement him as the top full-time heel on Raw for the foreseeable future, and an hour before the Steiner vs. Jericho main event set to determine his #1 contender for No Way Out, Hunter's status for the pay-per-view was again in question after another injury suffered during the TV tag match last Monday, with Hunter after looking to put the injury issues behind him to start the new year saying that the injury run doesn't seem to end with him getting something else the moment he heals. the latest being him having hematoma after clashing his knee with Van Damme's elbow to result in blood circulation issues in his right leg, with Hunter's injury this time leading to major changes to the big inter-promotional weekend house show tour that was advertised to be headlined by Steiner and Lesnar vs. Hunter main events in Minneapolis and New York, leading to last-minute changes with the company sending Team Angle to work the shows, with Minnesota's card changed to Steiner vs. Batista and the first-ever Lesnar vs. Benjamin match in front of their hometown crowd, while the Garden show saw more drastic changes, with the company looking to make up and minimize the heat in its home market for not delivering the advertised headliner by having Vince McMahon and Kurt Angle showing up unadvertised with the main event after a pre-match angle with Hunter, who by Saturday could barely walk from his blood issue, changed to Lesnar against all three members of Team Angle in a gauntlet match, including a short sample of Angle vs. Brock in front of the New York crowd. And with the WrestleMania direction being changed during the week, with Goldberg's negotiations stalling to remove Austin as the likely option and Nash not looking to be ready in time for the event in March, Raw's top-of-the-hour quarter set up Hunter's potential WrestleMania opponent, with Booker T and Goldust closing their tag team partnership to move Booker back up into a main event singles run. With Jericho set for the Steiner match in the main event after also opening the show in the follow-up confrontation with Test for the Stacy injury. Shawn Michaels' segment for the night saw him confronting another wrestler who was routinely compared to him in recent years, with Jeff Hardy, after legitimate concerns for the direction of his career and life in general. In a work-shoot exchange, given advice by Michaels saying that he can relate to Hardy after going through similar issues in his previous run, with Raw's second hour despite slightly picking up, remaining in line with the massive drop of the first, with exactly a million viewers drop from 5.6 to 4.6 million viewers, after a D'Lo vs. Maven match going 4 minutes midway through the hour, followed by a post-match Teddy Long promo attempting to give Brown a career resurgence, seeing two major angles going back-to-back, with the final Bischoff skit after searching for Austin all over San Antonio, Texas, looking to find him in a local bar with Eric, unlike the Vince angle in 1999, which ended with Vince confronting Austin in a bar in an attempt to cancel their cage match, not finding Austin in the place with him, instead taking out a local in the bar to close the angle with the company, as it did in the 10th anniversary special, looking to save Austin's first televised appearance for the pay-per-view, followed by the opening angle to the now-planned Booker vs. Hunter WrestleMania feud with Evolution's Orton and Batista after being sent to search for Steiner, attacking Goldust backstage on the way to the ring to end a brawl, with him being electrocuted near Raw's production equipment to set up the start of the program, with Booker's response to the new group. Scott Steiner vs. Chris Jericho after a week of hype in a match last seen on wrestling television during Nitro's Spring Break 1999 special, head up against a record audience for the go-home Raw to WrestleMania 15, went 7 minutes into the 8-minute overrun, with Steiner going over to set up the Hunter pay-per-view rematch in 2 weeks, closing Raw after encouraging signs of momentum, with viewers' realization that Hogan, Rock and Austin are not going to show up on the show at least until February 24th. Within a week dropping from a 5-month high to a near 2-month low viewership, with a massive decline from 5.4 to 4.4 million viewers, ending Raw after the show-long build-up to next week, with Vince McMahon making a surprise appearance to hype the 30-day deadline to Eric expiring next Monday in hopes of a massive rebound for the payoff of the angle 2 weeks from No Way Out.